So people always ask me, well, do I really need a business website? And I say yes. So some of them will say, but I've got a Facebook page, I don't need to have a business website. And actually, Facebook's constantly changing its rules and regulation, and if you post something on there, it's got a short shelf life, your posts get pushed down immediately, and also people tend to get a little distracted on Facebook and they go check out what their friends are doing. So it's a really valuable marketing tool, but it's not a particularly good and reliable anchorage for your business on the web. So don't use Facebook for your only business site. So we'll get started. We're going to build our business for the web and then launch it. And then I realized, wait a minute, we need the Canadian Space Station. So there you go. So for a business website, you need three components. You've got the site itself, the blog that kind of fuels it, and then the social media integration that helps with the distribution and brings you the traffic. So at the very least, your business website would have your company logo, background information, product and services description, and contact information. I've actually seen sites with not all four of these things, and I wouldn't say they're a waste of time because the company still has at least their name up there, but if you're not going to put your contact information up there, there's no point. You don't necessarily need a huge catalog or big portfolio, but this is your basic. And what I'm going to do is post this presentation on my Google Plus later, so if you want to go back and see it, you'll be able to see it. So what is a business website then? At its very best, it would explain your vision or purpose, product and services, background, the founders, who the personnel are. You could have a catalog or your portfolio on there, a store. You would have social media integration and a blog. The vision and purpose is really, I think, important, and some people sort of forget that. I think what happens is when you start building a business website, you build it in layers. You start with what has to go on, and you flesh it out a little bit later. So, but I believe that the vision and purpose kind of sets the tone for your site. And even, for example, if you were a bakery, your vision could be to increase the nutrition of the world, or sort of you want to try and figure out how does your business or your service make the world a better place, and decide, is that really your vision? You don't want to be fake. You want to be authentic, but ultimately that will act as an umbrella for all of your interaction and presence online.
Julie, should we let you go through the whole thing and go back and ask questions, or can we
ask questions now?
Okay, just mention that.
If I'm going to talk about it later, I'll refer later, but go ahead and ask now, because there's actually been quite a bit late, even so. Okay. The product and services on there, they're increasing the awareness of your company and your brand. Branding is such a big thing at this time on the internet. And putting your founders and personnel, it just gives you more credibility. It lets people see who you are, maybe a little bit about you. People feel a little more confident when they know the history of the company. Some people just skip that part, but sometimes if you're considering making a larger purchase or doing business with someone, you might want to look that up in more detail. The store would give you access to the products and services. And social media integration, I'm going to talk about that more later, but customer service, reputation, credibility, trust, expertise, but above all, it encourages and fosters relationships. And business on the web is all about relationships. So we'll talk a bit more about that after.
Julie, all of these items here,
yes,
except for that bottom one there, are pretty much posters. You know,
yes.
The bottom one, that blog part of it, I think is very interesting, particularly to designers, because one of the things that one can do is provide currency and value to people to keep coming back to your site. So basically, you're giving them a gift of something, you know, information or pointers or leads or something that would make you a provider of value to them, you know, to keep them coming and to keep them interested and to develop a relationship. You know, so that's a part that you're obviously going to talk about a fair bit down the road. So I'm just mentioning that.
It's actually, hi, come on in. It's actually quite key, and so people who try to do an internet business with, I think, without the blog or without the social media, really, you've got an incomplete presence.
They kind of look like tombstones now.
Right.
I call them tombstones because I've got a couple of those.
Right. And the other thing is it's like building a room with no doors. So the blog gives you the traffic and the social media, and they both bring people in different doors. So there's no point having a room if people can't get in. And one of the ways that they come in, or would even want to come in, as you say, if your blog is updated regularly and brings people there because there's something that you have to offer.
I've even had people complain about my straight-up website, saying that, you know, I went to your website like 3 years ago, and I keep going back once in a while, hoping you've got some new stuff out there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of, they feel kind of disappointed if you don't do it. In fact,
Or they stop growing.
Pardon?
Or they stop growing.
Yeah, or that.
Yeah. Actually, it's one of the probably biggest commitments is to blog consistency. We'll talk a bit more about that. The example I have here is this garden design site. A lot of people feel that for their vision or mission statement, they would have to make a paragraph or a page devoted to that. Actually, they have a one-liner. It just says, "From our garden to yours, we share inspiration from around the world for gardens big and small." And I thought that was really nice. Very short. It gives you a little bit of insight into what they're about.
And also the gifting aspect and the draw to keep coming back is that inspiration from around the world idea that they're going to keep providing you with new ideas constantly. That's what you feel from that.
Yeah, it's more than thinking they're trying to sell you something. It's more that they have something to offer you. A bit more generous. So, what is a blog? The history, originally how we got the word blog is it's a web log, which is kind of implying there's something that's entered regularly, and those two words got squished together to be a blog, truncated. So according to Wikipedia, and I took out a whole bunch of words because there's a page on it, but a blog is a discussion or informational site consisting of discrete entries or posts, typically displayed in reverse chronological order, the most recent post appearing first. Most people are familiar with Facebook, which is a blog of sorts. A majority are interactive, allowing visitors to leave comments, and it's this interactivity that distinguishes them from other static websites. So you can have a blog without a comment spot or an opportunity to leave comments, but I would recommend as a business that you allow people to leave comments, and I'll explain more about that in a bit. So when I'm talking to you from now on about a blog for business, I don't mean Facebook, I don't mean Tumblr. What I'm talking about specifically is an extra page on your website that's specifically updated regularly and has posts and opportunities for engagement. Okay? So I'm not talking about your whole site, because you can refer to a whole entire site as a blog. But I'm going to speak specifically about that page. So this one is from the virtual instructor, and you can see he's got the image and the little bit of text. You can read more, and I'm not sure if those are just videos or posters, but anyway, you can see it's got the chronological order, and they just go one after another, and they're each separate entries. He doesn't allow a spot. He doesn't actually allow a spot for comments, but he has an extra page on his site called a forum, where people participate and talk with him there. So I think that he's chosen to do it that way. I'm not sure why, but it works quite well. His forum is really well, can't say attended, but lots of people participate in it.
I wonder if the forum isn't a bit more, if it doesn't feel a bit more open to people commenting and whatnot than an actual comments page. maybe it feels less formal to people. So a comments page, quite often, even if it's not that way, you might feel that, well, I've got to give all my information on there. Probably there's a form, because a lot of places have that, but maybe they feel a little more conversational with the forum and therefore likely to participate. I'm just kind of wondering out loud here.
I think you're correct, because he has people having discussions, first of all with the instructor, and then also kind of with each other. So it's quite, it does open it up quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you do something like that, it's a time commitment, because unless you're getting 1,000 comments a day, I highly recommend you moderate and monitor what goes on there. I think you may have, touched, that's all right. I think you may have touched on this before, Tony, in one of your classes, just saying that you really need to watch what's being said about you online.
Yeah.
And that extends to your business. So.
Well, right here. So Julie is talking to us about blogs and websites for designers, really. It's very appropriate for designers. And she's talked mostly about the straight up stuff about setting up a website, but this part now that she's into is the blog portion of a website, or the way I like to see it, basically the whole website is a blog. It's as active as possible, and you limit the tombstone part or the billboard part to a smaller goal. So anyway, that's one attitude. So anyway, you carry on. You're just launching where you are. And by the way, Julie will have this. You're going to be your son's videotaping just heard, and so they'll have that up on Julie's website. Right?
I think what I'll do is I think I'll put it on my Google Plus, and I'll talk to you a bit more about why I'm choosing that later. Okay, because I'm kind of modeling what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try and use this to leverage my social media. So I think the form is very cool, but it is a time commitment. Don't be starting something like that if you don't have time to monitor it, because either it'll get out of control or you'll have to shut it down. And you don't want to, you need to do some planning about that. So, what a blog can do for you. So, blog does all these things. I'm pointing over there, but you guys don't come here. That feels a bit weird anyway. It's easier for me. So, you can build trust, build relationships, foster engagement, become, or at least position yourself as an authority or an expert on the web, add value, brand awareness, SEO, which is search engine optimization, and Google ranking, which is what puts you up in the search results higher on the page, and it provides in-depth content.